Simon, one or two people have reacted to Mbappe and this incredible level-headedness that he's got. The man for the pressure moment.
Yeah.
And to be quite honest, he sent out a message, did he not, to every professional around the world.
Yep.
This is how you take a penalty at a pressure moment.
I think so. And so did Lionel Messi when he stepped up and took the first penalty in the penalty shootout. You know, this boy took 3 penalties in a game, and all 3 penalties went where they needed to have gone. And people can not necessarily like my analogy about Harry Kane, but I do think the pressure overcame him. And I do think the difference between winning games or getting yourself into a game to stay competitive is those moments. And people don't like the expression bottled it. But because you say someone bottle it doesn't mean they're a bottler. It means in that moment, at that time, the circumstances overcame them. This boy takes 3 penalties in a World Cup final with the ultimate pressure on him, and all 3 of them go where they need to go. And that's what people talk about heroes and these wonderful leaders of men. But these are young men playing in a very privileged sport with a huge opportunity to be able to be recompensed at very high levels.
We can all miss, though, can't we? I'm just thinking about Mbappe
missing. That's about winning and losing, isn't it?
You tell me who it was who missed the penalty, which put France out of the Euros last time round against Switzerland. Who was it who missed that penalty?
No idea.
Mbappe.
Okay, at 19 years of age.
So it can happen.
At 19 years of age.
It can happen, yeah.
At 19 years of age.
Messi's missed penalties in Copa
19
Americas.
Years. Okay, yeah. But you want to make this point.
So let's not use it as an arrow to shoot our players.
Well, I will, actually, because the question is about what we do and what others don't.
What you do afterwards, isn't it? That's the words, isn't it?
Harry Kane's a 30-year-old
from disappointment.
Harry Kane's a 30-year-old senior professional. You're going to use an example of a 19-year-old kid.
No, I'm just saying.
That was a great example.
No, Messi missed them. Well, how old was Messi when he missed in the Copa America?
I've no idea.
Well,
we're talking about
you
here
haven't
and
done
now.
your research.
But Martin, that's no relevance.
It's a throwaway comment to have a go at Harry Kane.
I'm making an
sorry,
observation.
Harry Kane's our best penalty taker,
and that's fine.
And he will be in the future.
But I think most people will accept that when you get a penalty in a World Cup quarter-final, that's going to define your destiny, and your best player takes it. If he misses it in the manner that Harry Kane did, people are going to question the fact that he succumbed to that moment. Now, if you don't like it, I couldn't care less.
It's not that.
That's my view.
It's about how you learn from making mistakes.
Mark, that's the difference.
No, I'm just
displayed
trying to say
for
that
us all to see between the greatest and the greats.
Yeah, but the greats have failed as well. And that's their examples. They're 2 examples of that. It's just about bouncing back. Yeah, they were brilliant. They were in the zone right now in this World Cup, weren't they? Both of them were quite magnificent. I just don't think we should just be beating Harry Kane around the head.
But I think we should call things. No, hang on. If you can give all the praise, this is the problem with you lot, you footballers. You can sit there and you will wallow in the praise, and the moment you get criticism, that's not fair. It's preposterous. You've got to do it in equal measure. Harry Kane has been given inordinate amounts of praise over his career. When you have a moment like this, you have to accept that there is going to be some consequences for a circumstance where it was in your control. And you can defend the defensible if you want to. You can disappear up your own backside as far as I'm concerned about whataboutery. But we're talking about our boy in a quarter-final, and we're giving a specific example of 2 other players that when their moment came in this tournament, not when they were 19 years of age, when they were senior pros, we missed an opportunity, and people are entitled to be slightly disappointed by it.
Well, don't use it as an opportunity for you to have a go at players, yeah?
No, I'm not using it. I'm using a statement of fact.
You love it, don't you? What is it you with players? Where's the empathy and sympathy for our national hero?
Well, hang on. Let me get this right.
He misses a penalty.
Let me get this right.
In a huge moment.
See,
here's the nation of expectation on his shoulders.
Here's where I differ. See, I don't perceive you guys as heroes. I perceive you as guys that are in a very, very privileged position, that do a job that 99% of the population would love to do, are very highly remunerated for it, given huge opportunities, and when you don't do something that you could and should do, I think people should be made accountable. When you do, I think you should be praised. So that comes in an equal distribution. It's got nothing to do. And perhaps also when you've employed footballers, like I have, and you see them sometimes for what they really are, rather than the notion that other people want to advance them, you might have a slightly different view. But it certainly isn't based upon me going, I want to do everybody down. It's calling it for what it is. If it had stuck that penalty...
you need to let go. It's time for you to let go of what happened to you at Crystal Palace.
It's got nothing to do with that.
You're going to keep on bringing up what happened to you at Palace, and you're going to judge every other footballer by the way you were treated by those players then?
No. My players were very good players, and I got on very well with my players.
But there was clearly an issue with
I
their
also have a very clear.
manner.
No, I have a very clear view. Like, you talk about this nonsense about player welfare, and we all discuss it. We all know that you guys have got. You guys cannot believe that your Christmas has come at once.
What did they give you last
night?
Were we all saying thank you last night for what was the performance we saw?
Thank you.
I may as well.
Were we not thanking
those players?
I may as well throw in just a message from someone that it's not Gaza, it's Gaza, somebody else, but I can't see the second name in it. Simon's bang on with this pressure penalty analysis. Kane failed at the key moment. Mbappe nailed all three yesterday. That's the difference between levels and elite levels. They're different. I mean, yeah. When you look at that yesterday, Martin, that was a lesson in how to do it.
What I'm saying, to get to the elite level,
I don't think anyone's displaying any kind of unsympathetic nature towards Kane. Harry Kane will probably be the first to admit this morning.
For the last 15
Harry Kane
minutes,
will probably be the first to admit this morning.
Have you not been listening to what he said?
I wish the heck I could have done what Mbappe did yesterday.
To be an elite player, you've had to have failed and you've had to have suffered in the moment.
Well, Baggio missed a penalty, of course, in a penalty shootout.
Jim, you want to listen to some of the things that Simon's saying, and then you could actually give a decent contribution.
But you also have to have a critical evaluation. When you give to... I'm praising... You're saying you've got this horrible attitude towards players. I've just been praising Mbappe and Messi, and you're off on some ridiculous flight of fancy because I'm criticising somebody that you don't agree with.
No, you're using what they have done to beat our English players around the head, what they haven't done. And all I'm saying is that in time, let's give them time. Let's see if they bounce back.
Okay, he's 30 years of age. We
missed in the Euros in 18 months, haven't we?
We missed in the quarter-final. And I think people are entitled to say, at that moment, I would have liked to have seen better. And if you disagree with that, that's your prerogative. But it won't alter my view. It's got nothing to do with everything in life. It shapes your view on things.
Blame him.
But I think I'm pretty fair. I think I'm pretty equitable. I call it for what it is. If you don't like it, that's your prerogative.
Judge that.
Well,
let other people judge how fair you are.
You just judged it.
I think your opinion on footballers is tainted by the relationships,
but that's your view.
Poor relationships or lack of relationships.
But you don't know that.
You've had in the past with football players at Crystal Palace.
But with respect, Martin, you don't
know that every day because I listen to you every day.
Martin, you don't know that because you weren't there. So unless you were there,
I might as well have been.
If you would have been there, Martin, you'd have a different view. So with that in mind, you're entitled to your view. It's steeped in ill-informed nonsense, but then again, that's your perspective.
At the end of the day, Martin, when it comes down to it, as I say, the key moments.
There's a winner and there's a winner.
Roberto Baggio will remember that moment, of course, the penalty shootout with Italy. Yeah, of course. But I don't think it's a demonstration of not being sympathetic towards Kane. Your heart went out to Kane on that moment, yes.
Yeah, I want Simon to show that side of his personality. That little bit of empathy.
Why does he have to?
He's an English fan, isn't he? So nobody really is condemning Harry Kane for what
you played, we didn't. What is it that Mbappe had at that moment that Harry didn't?
Well, he had the experience of being in that position before and missing, and now he steps up and takes the moment. He loves it. You don't fear those moments, Jim. You love them. And you shouldn't. If you're not loving it, you shouldn't be there. You have to embrace it. And you saw that last night, didn't you, from those two world stars? They had everybody on the edge of their seats last night throughout the whole of Europe or the world. It was incredible theatre. And they produced. And then there was a winner and there was a loser. But I don't see anyone being condemned last night for not winning.
No, of course. I mean, both Argentina and France delivered possibly the greatest final of all time. I think the French
players that stood up were affected by the circumstances.
So they missed penalties, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think the same with them.
But they were youngsters. They were youngsters in a difficult situation.
But Martin, what you're suggesting is people can't have a critical evaluation. I've spent the entire tournament telling everyone how wonderful Jude Bellingham is. Or does that not fit into your narrative?
You can have
how great Kyle Walker was, but that doesn't fit into your narrative either, does it? So what you want to do is you want to pull me up on the things when I criticise people, but ignore the background about when I praise them.
If I said something so stupid as that, you'd pull me up, wouldn't you? So why should I let you?
But I would spend the whole show doing it then, wouldn't I?
Well, let's do that then. Let's do that.
Okay, we're coming up to 10:30. Please believe me when I tell you this. This will be an interesting commercial break in this studio.